There we go. All right, can you see the fat slub? That's me. All right.
I thought you were getting pissed off, dude.
Oh, God, I was about ready to pull my gun out and shoot it. I tell you. I don't know what it was. I just rebooted the whole system, and it's come back on now. So now I got to organize myself again. So anyway, I was trying. Okay, there's that. I was trying to keep the chats all together. If I can see what's going on.
Yeah, you should probably put your link again out there again on the other on the lobby.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Now you can hear me. Rebooted chat to Rick.
I can hear you fine. All right. We're back in business.
Dude, seriously, I thought you were gonna pull out the 1911 and just shoot shit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, no. Okay, what did you hear? So, did you hear anything that I was talking
Nothing
about?
at all.
Okay. You didn't hear about me stabbing myself in the leg?
No, we didn't hear nothing.
Okay. Well, welcome to Rick's Life as I See It. Another fucked up beginning like last week, but hell, part of the show. Well, see, I've got this. I don't know if you can see it. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I got this neck knife that I wear. I just took it off because somehow I had knocked it when I was sitting here about 30 minutes before I started. This fell out, boom, stuck in my ankle. My foot is absolutely soaked in blood. I got a Band-Aid on it, but I take a lot of medication, so it thins my blood out. So it looks a lot worse than it is. So if I disappear, it's not. I didn't shoot myself. I just stabbed myself. So, that's the first thing that happened. I got into the range on Thursday. They got voted in. I went there Friday. First gun up was the 92. I was the only person out there. I loved it. Pulled my truck up to about 15 yards from the targets. Dropped the tailgate down. Had my own table there. They had tables there already. This one had no shelter. This was just open. So I used my tailgate as a table. Shot about 3 magazines. They're 15. They're 15 stack. And I noticed the Italian police job has fixed sights. You can't change them. I was saying, well, I'll buy some new sights for these. No, they don't come off. It's part of the frame. So that kind of sucks because they ain't much good. But once I got the hang of it, I could hit the target. So anyway, I got through 3 magazines and it poured down with rain. I went, you son of a bitch. So I jumped in the truck and said, let's hope it's just a shower. It was. So it lasted a while, got out, pulled out the 1911. Now that was sweet. Beautiful, beautiful sights and everything else. And they had the target there that it was shooting still too. This is new to me, shooting still. And they had the targets. They had the 3 discs on the board, and they had the rope there where you pull it and it resets them. So man, I was having a well of a time. But of course, what happens? It rains again. So I just called it quits in the end. So but I did get a little wet because I had to pick up my brass because I'm reloading. But that was all right. So I went into the clubhouse because you have to sign in and out to let people know you've been there. And so I signed out, and I thought, well, let me use the restroom while I'm here. Went in the clubhouse. There's these 4 old boys there. They've been shooting shotgun, and they looked at me and they go, you're not meant to be out there in the rain. you know, and they started laughing at me because I was soaked to the skin. There they are sitting there with their $1,200 shotguns, you know, they're using. I'm like, Jesus, all right. Anyway, they were good old boys. All right, what happened next? Oh yeah, I'm not in set. What's the date today? Let's have a look. My calendar. Where's my calendar? Okay, so I'll be here next week. What? Okay, 2 more. I'll be here for 2 more weeks. Then I'll more than likely miss 2 because I'm going to Indiana. So
What's up in Indiana?
I got relatives out there. I ain't seen them in 18 years.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, I've been talking to some of them, and they say, why don't you come down in July and see us, you know? Because my father, you know, I'm sort of like I'm the only person on his side of, his brothers and sisters there, but like my father, I'm the only son that's here. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else. So
Yeah.
they want to see me because my father passed away a few years ago. You know, no. And I said, all right, as long as I can bring my guns. They said, oh yeah. They got most of them all got 80, 100 acres. You know, so they said, yeah, come out, just go stand outside the back door and shoot all you want. I said, I'll be there. So that was that. And I was looking at this week, listening to the news and shit. I tell you, they just can't seem, when the Attorney General spoke to them, that shut them up. For a night, they had nothing they could say. But the next day, they found something else to go after him for. They just can't win. Even if that was a Republican shooting Democrats at a baseball game, we wouldn't have heard the end of it. They would have already been
For like 6 months.
I mean, they would have been out knocking on our doors trying to confiscate our guns. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one of them. It's I don't know. But what I'm still scared about is those bills that are in the House, like was it Bill 38, which is the national, how you ever pronounce it? I can never pronounce the word. Reciprocity or whatever you call it, where you can go anywhere in the country with it.
Reciprocity?
Yeah, how you pronounce it? Fuck knows. Whatever that word is. Why don't you use something English, And that doesn't get passed. It ain't going to, because what's going to happen is when they go on their summer break, when they come back, all they're going to be worrying about is getting themselves ready for the midterm election cycle. So it's pissing me off. It really is. I'm getting upset. I voted. I mean, Trump wasn't my first choice, but he was the man that got nominated. And, I did like watching his rallies. He knew how to fire a crowd up, and he promised us a lot of stuff. He promised to be the Second Amendment, and the only thing and it's a damn good thing. The only thing he's done for us is the Supreme Court judge right now, as far as we know. He's meant to be pro Second Amendment Constitution, but we ain't seen any cases come up in front of him yet. He might swing the other way. That really will screw us. But I doubt it. But that's the only thing that's happened. Nothing else has happened. There's 109. I got an email last night. There's 199 co-sponsors to that bill. So that's and there's actually about 5 Democrats on it. So it should pass the House. Why don't they just bring it out and present it? Get it done out of the way. And the one that's in the Senate, we got over half of the signatures as co-sponsors. So I think if the House gets it, I think the Senate will go along with it. And Trump said they're signing it. I can't see the problem here. But what am I missing? Tell me, people, what am I missing? You know? I got to be missing something.
Hey, did you hear about the hearing protection act? Did it move up?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one because in the big scheme of things, it's it doesn't, yes, we want it and everything else, but when you look at the majority of gun owners, it's only a small percentage of gun owners who really want it. Yes, we shouldn't have to be going through any of this bullshit to start with. Right? But that's the way it is, so we got to live with it for right now. But like to me, if it changed tomorrow and said, "Oh yeah, you can go buy one, no problem," none of this bullshit waiting 8 months and $200 and shit done. I wouldn't get one. First off, I have to buy all new guns or get all my guns, thing for threaded on them. If I could thread one on, but I can see no point in one. Yes, I know. I might get one eventually, but I wouldn't rush out and get one. And that's what I'm saying is the majority of people who own guns won't rush out and get them. There's a core group that will go buy them as soon as the hits midnight on the day it's disbanded. But I don't think it will happen. Maybe by the end of its 4 years, it might happen. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what that guy said. G-Web said on his on one of his shows last week or the week before. There's some lawyer. He was saying the same thing.
Oh, that every second matters yet?
Yeah. Yeah. He was saying the same thing. So it's a bit of a bummer in that sense. But, you got to take what you can get. That's where we're at. Oh, okay. What else is on the list? That's it's I just want them to get it done. I can't see the problem. They're just making so much crap out of it. It was collusion with the Russians. That was proved wrong. Then Sessions was crooked, and that was proved wrong. Now they're going for obstruction of justice. They just come after one thing or another. And it all comes down to is they can't take it. They lost. I think what it was, they didn't expect to lose. They just thought they're going to go to bed in the morning. The Democrats are going to have the president and be in charge. It didn't cross their teeny weeny little mind that it wasn't going to, So, and they just can't get over it. And they need to. But we can get on and get shit done. Oh, my next topic. I've been thinking about this, and Matt said it the other night too. Food seems to be a big discussion in meetings, in these little chats. And Matt was saying something about coconut. I like coconut, especially in a sort of like a Mounds bar covered in chocolate. Oh man, you can't beat it.
Chocolate.
Exactly. With some coconut in it, damn. As you can see by my size, I'm kind of partial to the old sweet stuff, which I need to give up on. I'm trying. I'm getting better. So, I am on a diet. I had to go to the doctor's a couple of weeks ago, and he put me on a diet. Went back the other day. I lost 5 pounds.
Good for you, man.
But he worried the shit out of me. I didn't sleep for 2 days. He said he's detected a heart murmur.
Yeah.
You know, I said, yeah. He said, don't worry. He said 90% of people have heart murmurs. They don't even know it. And they go through their lives and it doesn't even affect them. You know, so there's nothing to worry about. But I said, what happens if it is something to worry about? You know, so you ain't heard one for years. All of a sudden you hear one. You know, so and he said if it was really that bad, they would have sent me to the hospital right there and then. My appointment is this Tuesday to go get that echogram or whatever you call it. But I noticed a lot of people that are on gun channels have heart trouble. Has G Webb put something in the algorithms of this this website that's sort of getting to us? You know, I think it's just old age, to be honest with you. But that's it. I told you about my vacation in Indiana. So if anybody's, I'm going to be down towards Evansville area. So if anybody's down there, let me know. Might hook up. So I think that's about it, really, on that. What else have I got to talk about? Besides, it looks like my ankles eased up on the bleeding. I got a shoe on, a slip-on shoe here, and it's kind of squishy because it's full of blood. But that's okay.
Oh, dude, I hear that.
Hey, see, but gun channels and you guys come first.
What's up, dog?
You know, hell, if I'm going to pay $250 to go to the emergency room as my copay on my insurance. You know what I'm saying? So, if it doesn't stop bleeding, I'll call a friend over here. I know a lady who's a nurse. I'll call her over and say, come and fix this for me.
Did you just say a $250 copay?
Yeah, to go to the emergency room for my insurance, yeah.
My God, that's a mess. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. But that's the emergency room in the hospital. If I go to an urgent care place, it's $75, which is a bit better, but it's still, you know.
Yeah, but if you go to an urgent care place, they're going to give you an ace bandage and some Tylenol and send you home.
Yes. The reason they do that in the emergency room now, that a lot of insurances are charging high prices, co-pays, is to stop people from wasting the time, like going there on a Sunday afternoon and saying, I got a migraine, you know, and only take 2 aspirins and go home. You know, I understand what they're saying, but it hurts when somebody really needs it. You know? Yeah.
After a couple years ago when that healthcare thing kicked in and I watched my rates go up over 40%, I pretty much haven't been to a hospital since.
Oh, yeah, mine too. I mean, I fell under the thing, you know, I lost my health plan, I lost my doctor, you know. I'm disabled now, but the last year I was working, my deductible had practically doubled from when it started, you know, with the Obamacare. I think my deductible was up to, I think it was nearly $5,500 deductible. I didn't spend that in a year. So, in other words, I didn't have no. It was a way I'm paying a premium and I'm not using it because I got deductibles. I have to pay for the stuff first to get to the $5,500 before it kicks in. You know, the only thing it worked for is medication. I had a plan where at least it covered my medication, you know, from the get-go. Otherwise, I would have been totally screwed.
Yeah, at the time I was working 3 different jobs. I had a full-time job, another full-time job, and a moonlight job. And because I worked too much, I didn't qualify for any kind of breaks. They just taxed the hell out of me.
Jesus. Wow. What are you working so much for?
Well, at that time, I'd just gotten married, Me and my wife had gone back to California to take care of her grandparents.
Okay.
I was the only one working in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I totally understand that.
Oh, yeah. You'll work yourself to death to take care of family. That's just how it is.
Oh, it is. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, I done it too in my younger days when I first got married and had kids. You know, do a couple. I always had two jobs, one full time, the other one was part time. You know, actually, I think one time I had two full time jobs. It's sort of like I went from one. I worked sort of like 6 to 2 in the morning. Then I worked from like 3 to midnight type thing.
Yep.
You know, go home and sleep and start it all over again.
Oh yeah, nothing like those 2-hour power naps.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did it for a while when I was younger. It sucks, but as you said, you do what you got to do for family.
I just, it's one of the things I've never understood about the tax system in this country. As much as people want, if there's one thing that I could see get changed in the next 4 years or the next 8 years, is I'd like to see a move towards a flat tax.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not the most educated, but I'm pretty good with math, and every argument I see against it just doesn't hold water.
Yeah, I agree with you. We need to do something with the medical too, because he totally screwed it up. I wasn't happy with it before. I mean, that's from living in England for so long. You know, if I was sick, called the doctor and went. You know, and everybody pays for it. You pay national insurance in England. It was based on what you earned. The more you earned, the more you paid into it.
Is that similar to the Canadian system?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it was called national insurance. The more you earned, the more you paid into it. Everybody got to use it, and it was. I mean, you got absolutely great service. But like here, if you went to the doctor and he said, "Oh, you got a hernia," and next thing you know, the hospital's calling you and, "Oh, we got you booked in for surgery next week." In England, it might take 6 months to get that hernia surgery. You go on a waiting list, which is the downside. But while you're on the waiting list, if you needed some sort of trust to hold it in, they would give you one. You know what I'm saying? Or if you needed a knee replacement, you're on a waiting list, they would give you a brace for your knee for at least you can move around. You know what I'm saying? While you're waiting.
Yeah, so they'd cover the general aid.
And it wasn't, well, there you go. You go wait 6 months, make out best you can, So, I was used to it. So, And so when I come over here and they go to the doctors and they say, well, we need a copay, I'm thinking, do what? Then they send me a bill. Your insurance didn't cover this part. Oh, well, your loss, not mine. I do pay them, but I'm not fast on paying medical bills. To me, medical insurance is a scam for what it is. What seems to be to me. Same as car insurance, is a scam.
I see what you're saying. It's like playing a negative lottery.
Yeah. That's my take on it anyway. That's how Rick sees it. That's why my show's called that. See. Yeah, but hey, I survived this long, so I must be doing something right.
There you go.
Yeah. I was saying earlier, I had trouble at the beginning of the show. My computer, my sign wouldn't work. So I had to reboot and start all over again. But you heard the bit about me stabbing myself in the foot, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, Jesus. That was just about a half hour before the show was meant to start. And I'm thinking, oh, God. And, oh, well. I wonder what happened to my buddy today. John Z. He normally joins me on these on Saturday afternoons. But that's okay. It's nice to have you here.
I'll tell you something. If you ever do something and you sit there and you go, geez, why did I do that? Just look up the video, big text, and go, you know what? At least I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
used to be on here.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah, earlier.
You know, I feel bad for the guy because he shot himself, but what I can't believe is that he then went and put the video up for everyone to see.
Yeah.
He did that, I think, to show everybody that we all fucking famous thing once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, he shot himself in the leg, right? If I remember right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to find the complete video. Now almost everybody just has like the little 10-second piece of it.
Yeah.
But the original video, he spent like a good 2 minutes talking about how he was a quick draw expert. Then shows the portion of him shooting himself.
Yeah. I think he said there was a part too that he wanted to what was it? He wished he'd filmed the first 80 down on himself. He said he'd done a good job.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, so, sometimes when I do stuff and I'm like, geez, why did I do that? That's how I remind myself, you know what? It could have been worse. I didn't shoot myself today.
That's right. That's right. That's the way I look at it too. Yeah, I mean, like yesterday when I was shooting, I've only ever shot it still 2 times before. So I mean, I was only about. They say don't get too close. So I was at 15 yards. Nothing came back at me. So I figured, oh, okay, that's good. See if I can get a bit closer next time.
Yeah, with steel, it just depends on what you're shooting at. Like, I mean, how big the caliber and whatnot to determine how far you got to be.
Yeah. I was shooting a 45. 15 yards. It was 15 yards? No, 15 feet. I think it was 15.
A little close, but not that bad.
No, I had to be 15 yards. I'm trying to think. Because I was at the end of the rope. And that was, because you could pull it and reset them. Yeah, it was about 15 yards. I thought that was, that worked. I mean, I would knock them down, pull the rope, and start again. I like that. That was great fun.
Oh, yeah, 15 yards is 30 feet. That's plenty.
Yeah. So I thought I was hitting them, so I was happy. Yeah, I'm pretty good shot with a 45. That 9, though, I get used to those sights because they're fixed sights on that damn thing, and I don't particularly care for them. I mean, let's see. I think I stuck it in here because I was coming online today. I know to keep them in the safe in the bedroom, but I put them in here because I know I would be on at my show today. I don't know if it shows it that well, but those sights, it is unloaded, by the way. Those sights there, see, are fixed. I mean, you look. I mean, it's hard to see down them.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah. So, but I tell you what, though, that was a damn good buy. This is one of those used 92 Esperettas, Italian police jobs. This must have been one they had as a reserve in case they needed to hand out a new one, because this one has never been shot.
Well, that sounds like an officer's gun. Never practiced, never used.
Yeah. All it had was a couple of scratches here on the handle, and that was it.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned buying a police gun. I think it's probably about 2 weeks ago. I was drinking with a buddy, and me and him started talking about how police officers, at least in the United States, have become notorious with being bad shots.
Oh, yeah.
And me and him were trying to pinpoint exactly when that happened. Because I remember as a very young individual, that like my local sheriff was a cracks marksman. When did it become acceptable for police to become synonymous with bad shooting?
I don't know when that changed, but I do know up at here in this town of Westerly, Rhode Island. It's kind of funny. The local what do they call it now? I call it the dump. They call it the something station now. You know, they don't like us using the word dump anymore. But anyway, the police have an outdoor range out in the back of the dump there. And I was up there the other week throwing some trash out, and you could hear them popping away. Man, they are some lousy. I swung by and just sat in my trunk and I was watching them. Man, there are some lousy shots. You know? And I was wondering, because then you hear, as you said, when did this all change? Because you hear reports where 10 or 15 shots were fired. They hit the guy with 2 bullets in the leg. So where in the hell were the other 13 bullets going to? You know?
Well, and like I say, it just seems like there was a transition in that. Now, I remember when I was really young. Now, granted, when I was really young, I had a smaller police force that I had to deal with because smaller community. But they were all part of the local marksman's club.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but I do know here, which I know here in Wesley, I think what turned it here in Wesley is the town won't pay for the cartridges for practice. So they only practice maybe twice a year to qualify. If they want to practice anymore, they got to pay for it themselves.
And their qualifier probably has a low standard.
Yeah. So maybe, you know, I mean, they're not getting out there to really, you know, shoot, unless they're into guns. I think sometimes policemen, you know, aren't into it. They just want the job and everything goes with it, but they don't want the gun side of it. I mean, that's like a friend of mine. His son went into the Navy. Of course, I'm there eating breakfast, and the other day, a couple of weeks ago, he comes up to me, "Your goddamn president," because he's a Democrat. You know, my son's on a ship. He could be sent out to the I said, "He's in the Navy, right?" "Yeah." I said, "When you're in the military, you know, part of the job is you might have to fight. It's not a corporate career like you guys think it is. If you want a civilian job, get a civilian job. You go in the military, expect to fight."
Well, did you tell him that if Clinton had gotten in office, his son had been sent off to Siberia?
Yeah. You know, I just don't get it. You know, the military, it's a military. That's what it stands for. It's not there to get an education or get a career. You know, yeah, you can have a career, but the possibility of going to battle, going to war is there. Now, if you want to go work for Walmart and have a career and work the corporate ladder, it's a different story. You know, don't treat the military like a corporate business.
Well, see, I don't necessarily blame individuals for treating it that way. By the time I was coming up through high school, that's kind of how I'm not going to accuse any branch of the military for taking that transition, but that's how the military was presented to my generation, at least.
Oh, it was? See, I don't know.
Well,
I was a military brat. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm talking about, you know, the 60s and 70s. And my father's attitude was, the way he was taught, was that the Army or the Air Force or whatever branch you're in, if they wanted you to have it, they'll issue it to you. You know?
So, I mean, I come from a military family, and so I didn't buy into that corporate image of it. But I remember being in high school when the recruiters would come.
Yeah.
And the way that the recruiters present it to the high school kids, or at least the ones that interacted with us, trust me, talking about the actual nitty gritty of what you might have to do is far from what they wanted to talk about. They wanted to focus on how they were going to pay for college and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of these ads on TV, with the exception of the Marines, because the Marine Corps ads are still awesome. But you look at the Army ads or the Navy ads, you'll notice that they always talk about become a doctor, become an EMT, go to college. They don't put a lot of emphasis on the join and serve.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they don't. You're right. You're right. I'm just old fashioned, I guess.
Well, no, I agree with you. I think that the joining to serve and understanding the job and what that job may entail is important.
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of these kids nowadays are getting sold something else at the selling table. They're not being told the truth of the matter until after they've signed up.
Yeah. Then it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because it still comes back to, you're mine. You sign on the dotted line.
No, what they did, my cousin, they bought him food. They made him sign.
Do what?
They bought him food, and he's like, okay, I'll do it. It sounds fun. He signed. He's been in there for 4 years. He signed up again for another 4.
Yeah, some people like it. Some people really do. They really get into it. I regret, even though I was a military brat, so I saw what it was like. When it was time for me to go in, was just at that graduation time, and I was rebellious. And my father was in the military, and I said, "No, I ain't putting up with the bullshit you put up with." But I went to work for the government for 20 years, as a civilian, working with them anyway. So, but I was thinking, different story. But even like my father, he retired way in the early 70s. And they promised him free medical for the rest of his life and everything else. Shit. Things got worse as he got older and older. They took more and more away from him. I felt kind of sorry for him, really. And also when he retired, when you got back in the early days, getting rank was hard. Today, you got kids with pimples on their faces. I got so much rank, it's unreal. I don't know where that changed too. And also, like the old retirees like my father, back in the 70s, I don't think he even got $1,000 a month. Today's these people retiring $2,000 or $3,000 a month, or whatever it is. I know my father was only in the hundreds. I know that for 20 years of service. They got paid even less than what they do now. So that's my gripe over with. Yeah. Okay, and he said going to be on vacation for 2 weeks in July. So I don't know if I'm going to be anywhere near. I'm going to take my computer with me, but if I get a chance, I'll come on. But I don't know if I'll be able to. So I'll mention that again in the next week or two broadcasts I have that I won't be here. I know you guys have missed me because I'm such a challenge. You never know what's going to happen. Let's see. What's time? Oh, damn. My hour's almost up. I went over because of the fuck up at the beginning. But I only go about an hour. Because then we just sit here and just, like we're doing now, getting off topic. Yeah, I've run out of topics, actually. I got through them all. Damn, we're doing good this week. Okay. That's because you talk too much, Mr. Knives.
Sorry.
I just couldn't get a word in. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry. I'll let you talk more.
Anyway, I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I don't know if there's another chat going on in the lobby or not.
Yeah, there's a lobby chat right now.
Oh, okay. I got a couple of things I've got to do, otherwise I would stay on. But I will be back in a couple of hours. I might see you guys in the lobby chat. So
Sounds
anybody
good.
who's out there, Patrick's out there in the YouTube lane. Well, he was. Just saying hi, Patrick. I'm just checking out who was anybody with us. So yeah. So anyway, that's how it goes, and I'm calling it a day, guys, and I appreciate it.
Have a good one. Take care of that leg.
I will. I'll let you know later on the night how it's going if you're around. All right. As I always say on my videos, right? Take care, America, wherever you are.